Hello and welcome, my friends. Habits here, and as usual, less addictive than TV tropes. We're here. It is the first time in a long time that I'm coming to you guys from evening time, or close enough that it doesn't really matter. It's technically late afternoon. I can still see a little bit of light outside, but man, oh man, has it been a kind of miserable weather day here in Colorado. And we'll fill that in as we're loading up the world in our big hole that we're working on. So, yeah, I woke up this morning late. I overslept because it was dark and cloudy and didn't really uh, get moving. But I mean, not super late. I get up pretty early on most days, so no big deal. But it was this already this like freezing drizzle nastiness, and you could just it was coming. Everybody knew, if you hadn't kind of prepared your stuff or made arrangements or whatever, you were ooh, how, when did I land on there? Seriously? All right, a little bit of a rough start. Nope. Here. All right, now we're going. So we should mostly be down to stone level stuff now, but we may have some more of this lava that we're dealing with. Did we never? Ooh. Did we never get this side done? Maybe we just decided, like, hey, we know where the hole is. So I think we can now kind of leave it down to this and just do all of this in one sort of shot. There'll be some dirt hanging out we'll have to work around. But nothing should be too out of reach. Ooh, and there's that. Copper is good. We are definitely gonna look to maintain a bit of that. Now we had torches to there and we just stopped. I guess that was when I was kind of uh, looking in the surface level caves and was like, oh well, yeah, we've got as far as we need to. None of this should be in the area, but it kind of was. All right, let's go ahead and this is off topic. We're just getting going, but we do need the copper, right? If we're going to use copper as a common building element, I've already talked about how we probably are going to have to go get sandstone and copper to finish off the exterior of the room. Got a few stacks of copper blocks, but they're not endless. All right, let's just do that to get out of here. We don't need to spend all day. That's all good. So does this end? And how far below are we down here? Where was our access point? Okay, so this is floor height. And there's not too much back here, so let's just fill it all in. As I had done over on the other side, we want to have at least 2 blocks of height because we'll probably want to redo the floor and all that, and it's no fun breaking the floor that you're trying to lay and then find that you have holes underneath it. So just having one extra area is kind of handy when it comes to that. And since we're going to just fill all this in and probably never be back down here, at least not anytime in the near future, we'll just fill it in. So so yeah, anyway, back to real life for just a second here as we're just filling in these holes. So it's like, kind of more midwesterny ice storm day today here in Colorado. We don't get quite as many of these, and I don't really wish them on anybody. They're pretty nasty and miserable. I'd personally much rather have snow. You can play in snow. It's just like kind of rain, kind of ice. Everything it touches freezes. That's no good for anybody. And that's exactly what I woke to this morning. Was the ground was still warm enough, so it wasn't like icing on the roads or anything yet, but all the cars were just caked, right? And the you know, plows and all were out. There wasn't really anything for them to plow per se, but they were certainly spreading all the de-icer and the grit and all that kind of stuff. I know, we used to call it sand. Nowadays it's just grit. Because I think whoever manufactures it is like, oh, there's so much more than just sand in here. You're disparaging our grit. So they were doing their thing, right? And because I'd gotten a little later start on my day, I decided, oh, I'll just, reverse the order and do my Stardew stream and then right back to back do the Minecraft. And then I'll just upload all the videos. It's kind of the pattern that I've gotten to, except usually I start with Minecraft first and switch out after. And, it is kind of whatever it is. Primarily with Twitch, I'm just trying to have a consistent kind of morning time frame that I can kind of personally commit to myself. That yeah, I can be there most days, and that for me that's locally sometime between 9 and 10, and I'm trying out the different times to see what. Oh, I was doing so well, and I was facing this way. That was not good. But it looks like we got all the pieces, which is good. Kind of one of the advantages, I guess, of working on the hole. But, sometimes those corners, they fall errantly. So this is the side that had the lava lake, and it should be right up above us there. So hopefully when we clear all this out, there won't be any issues. And again, to this point, I'm not worried about the outer wall here. I don't want holes necessarily, but like that other cave and this lava area, I haven't really done too much to it. Alright, so if we do cut these, we're okay, but I think I just prefer to have stone, not lava. Call me crazy, but stone, not dirt, between me and the lava. And now that should be good. Okay, good. So that's all fine. Alright, we did all those torches. Man, we got down low quick underneath those. Don't think we need to do another whole batch. Let's just finish out our outer edge here. And this one should be pre-cut again, so... How's it feel to be in the rain, Enderman? You don't like that water. Alright, there's that. That's where we get into trouble. Oh, too much swing. So, ice storm, and I'm streaming, and everything's going good for about 20 minutes of a 4-hour stream. We're having a blast. I'm kicking off the world, not making too many mistakes. It's fall in year two. We're starting to feel the results of all of our hard work. So it's really getting fun. And all of a sudden, a car alarm starts going off outside my window. Not like immediately, but right, kind of in the parking around me. And first I'm like, oh, listen, it's one of those like 90s era, where it goes through the whole, and then it progresses through kind of a sing-songy horn and all that. If you hear it, you're like, oh yeah, that's the old classic car alarm before they got varied much. It's the progressing alert tones and all that kind of stuff. So, kind of joking about it, had a little banter there, and it ran its cycle and it went off, and it was like, okay, well, that was fun, and then it started again, and throughout the entire stream, it would stop for times, but it's one of those things that does just happen when you get icing like that on vehicles, especially when it's like a drizzly mist like that. The water can seep in and then freeze around the whatever they have for sensors, either on the door ajar or the windows. Basically there's icing on something that's supposed to be telling the car alarm system that um, if you can't see both contacts, then this has been opened, and that's when you need to sound the alarm. And that was going on, and I don't know, if it was second car of somebody's or what, if they were at work or if they just, were on the opposite side of the building and never heard it and weren't aware or what. But, it was clear the car wasn't getting broken into, right? It's just sitting there. But with this ice, it just, it wouldn't stop on its own, or it would. So either in the last couple hours, the owners can't, went to go drive somewhere and like, oh, my alarm's going off. I better turn that off. Or the battery's dead now because it was going nonstop. A good, I mean, it was the pretty much 3.5 hours of my 4 hour stream. Um, and then it kept going after because I'd planned to, okay, well, when it stops, I'll just go into the Minecraft. And I was like, you know what? It was bad enough. I don't know. I haven't really listened to the stream. I don't know. Sometimes you hear it in your own ear. You hear those background things, and it's barely audible. The mic just doesn't pick it up as much. So I'm really hoping um, it didn't stay as consistent as it started uh, in the stream audio. But I don't think it didn't ruin the fun I had. It was kind of like one of those where you're just, at times you're like, man, just give it a break, right? It's not bad. It's not too loud. It's not too invasive, but it's just relentless. And at some point, you're like, I just don't want to hear that anymore. So it has now finally ended. A little while ago, I was kind of got moved on to other stuff, but I am sitting here as the the sky outside, I can still see it's a little bit light, but it is fading past fast. And here in Colorado, we don't, our sunsets are relatively early because we have mountains. So um, the sky stays light longer in that sense than it does. And I also hope, because I haven't been out in a few hours now, but I kind of hope it means that the overcast is broken. And tomorrow's supposed to be cool but sunny, um, where maybe whatever. There's not even really snow. It's just this. Oh, what do you know? here, here I am recording after however long it's been, and car alarm starts going off. I think somebody like hears me and is like, "Oh, you know what? We figured out he's actually recording and streaming and stuff." They've been like listening outside the window instead of still liking and following on YouTube. or following on Twitch, liking and subscribing on YouTube, they are just jealous of how awesome we are and now set off their alarm endlessly. Because it really had been quiet for a while, but it's going right now. So I guess we're not as done as we hoped, but I was so excited because I hadn't heard it in a long, long time, and I was just ready that we'd do this, get this hole finished, maybe go. We're either going to go, or we may do both, but we're going to go looking for copper and sandstone in the desert, and we are going to keep an eye out for guardian temples, kind of in an ever expanding circle around this 0, 0 point. And wherever the closest guardian temple is that we can find, we will then flag that as the place where we're going to get our mining fatigue and continue on. Oh, where is that little torch? There it is. At least somebody seems to be aware of it. It got turned off this time. There we go again. Maybe they're trying to figure it out. And if it is ice like that, every time you arm it, it's going to go. So, sure, it's a pain in the butt. And it's so embarrassing when you have that going on in your car. You're like, I can't make it stop. I can't make it stop. Once upon a time, I had a roommate that had some kind of a electrical issue with his car that was making it go, and it was one of those. I don't know what the deal was. I don't know if it was like a trip or something going on or what, but one of the neighbors had to be like, "Dude, that is your car alarm, and you need to deal with it because it keeps just going." He had like a truck and a car, and I assume it was probably over like a summer camping because for a while there, we all had off-road vehicles, and in the summertime, just go have a convoy, go four-wheeling and camping and all that. Very good time. But I'm assuming if it was either that or like a ski trip or something if we were all gone, and the neighbor came back and was like, that has been going on the whole time. You need to deal with that. And it was like one of those, I had to go to the dealership or whatever multiple times for them to figure it out. So can be a nightmare. But here I was, all excited to tell you guys how I had this story and it had been so brutal, but now it was a wonderful night. And my most exciting part is that I am excited for the new episode of Book of Boba Fett, which I understand a lot of people probably watch on like a Tuesday night, because depending on where you're at, I think it goes like midnight, but is it GMT? And are we losing? I should go up and drop all this. I think this is, well, yeah, there's the beacon. This is the right corner. The beacon tells us so. Alright, stone, where were we at? Gravel and dirt and sand. Gravel here. Dirt had its own box and a second right here. And then these are all going here. So one of the things I did do this afternoon, because it was pretty miserable, I didn't want to just go for my own exercise sake walk or anything like that. So I actually dusted off the old Skyrim playthrough I've got. I have this issue where every so often I go, you know what? I'd really rather be playing Fallout, or I'd really rather be playing Skyrim right now. And whichever one I had been playing, I then, lose and like go make more progress than I had in whatever the last character I created was. And go, wow, every time you learn a little bit more, right? And I've been playing these both for a long time, so there's some pretty quick starts. But I just get busy with other stuff. I think Skyrim probably um, went up until the holidays, and then I traveled and everything, lost interest, contact with it, and had played some Fallout. I don't know if I may have started that one before the holidays. I don't know. They blur together, and none of them are that important, right? I kind of just like, it fills some time. Sometimes you feel it. Sometimes you're like, man, these games are dated and silly, but I love both of them. Really, the saturation of the world and just being able to let go and kind of cruise through the combat once you get the right gear and character built up. Pretty fun. So because of all this noise, I was like, oh, I can just turn up the volume. I had a YouTube going of somebody that has a long play that I like, and yeah, just enjoyed it. And had been a long time since I'd been able to. Well, not since I'd been able to. I could have done it whenever I wanted to, but I just had. Oh no! So it was a really good afternoon. I was coming back here excited. Again, it sounds like it's not what was going on earlier today. So I have a feeling the owner is out there working on it, and I do hope they get it figured out. I wish when it comes to like electronic car stuff, all I know is keep a trickle charger ready, and if you're having ongoing issues, just go get a spare battery and charge up the second, have it ready to go, and then you can go. Because I had an issue with a truck, actually my current truck when I first got it. I had it for a little while, and all of a sudden I started having these electrical problems. And I was like, what's the deal here? Every once in a while my battery would go dead, and I was like, you know what? I'm not leaving the lights on, but you check like, is it the dome light? Is it what could be going on to cause this battery to get low? And I still, he's still in business, and in fact, he's kind of a victim of being too good. He was just getting going. A guy out here in Colorado that does Toyotas and all of the family, so Acuras and all that kind of stuff. Or wait, are Acuras Toyotas? I don't know. I lose track. But he's got basically a background working as a Toyota mechanic, certified whatever deal, and started his own shop. And so when he was first needing business and I was getting my truck, I had a buddy who he'd done an engine rebuild for, and he's like, "Oh yeah, if you're ever looking, just go, get whatever vehicle you're looking at, and then bring it by me, and I will no charge, no nothing. I'll give it a look over and give you, my honest opinion. Should you buy it, or is there trouble down the road?" And he looked at two for me. And the first one, he was like, "This is older, and um, I see some ish. Here's the stuff you're gonna want to watch out for." And from his side, he was kind of like, here's they're asking how much. No, this would be what I would consider a fair price for it. It was a couple thousand off. And I didn't tell the people no, because I was looking for a vehicle as usual. When those things happen, a lot of times, at least in my case, whatever you'd previously been driving had a problem to make you go on the market. I'm not one of those that's like, oh, I want to get a new car. In fact, I have a third gen 4Runner, which mine is from 1998. It's the oldest car, except for when I was, driving like parents' cars and stuff as a kid. It is the oldest vehicle I've ever owned, and I've owned it for, I don't know, 15 years now, something like that. Maybe not quite that many. Maybe, maybe close. Got it in 7 or 8, so it's been a while, and it's great. It's got it's old now, so it's got a few issues, and I don't take it off road. I wouldn't feel as comfortable taking it off road as I used to. But it's still it's still rock solid and gets me from place to place. But when I first got it, it had this issue where the battery would just keep dying. And I took it into this guy I trusted, and he'd done all the work on it. He knew the vehicle, and he's like, I just don't. And I'm like, look, man, I don't know what to tell you. I've bought new batteries and all that. It's going. Like, what can we do? And he's like, well, I can, do all the plugs and everything, and I'll redo the wiring harness and all that. Still didn't do it. And by that point, he was kind of like this PC guy that I was dealing with over the summer. He gets to the point of feeling bad. He's like, I don't know. And he had to just kind of like keep putting voltmeters on it in various places in the wiring, to eventually find out that the rear tailgate, the window motor, so there's a up and down sliding glass window in the back tailgate that then it doesn't fold down like a pickup truck. It lifts up like a minivan. It's an SUV, but the minivan style opening of the full back top, and the window in it slides up and down. And he's like, I finally chased that down. The fan was frozen but still drawing a charge, so at some point it had seized. And I was like, well, I haven't opened that back window or not. The fan thing seized, or the motor on it seized, and was still set to draw current. And he's like, I figured it out, and I disconnected the motor. If you want, you can just go order one and replace it. And I was like, we'll see. We'll see how much I miss it. I never open that back window again. I don't miss it at all. So it hasn't been a big deal, but it was like, weeks, if not more, to figure out why I was having this battery problem. So I don't envy, if it is a problem with this car that's out there as opposed to just ice and like a sensor, I don't envy trying to track that down. But I think for now, we're probably best to leave the beacon here. We could carry it around and all that, but it's at a known spot. Oh, look, we've almost waited out the bad omen. We're down to just 3 minutes of it. For one thing, it gives us an easy point of reference on the way back, but I think we do want to gather up all of our other tools and stuff. Do we? We don't need that. We don't need that. We certainly don't need that or that. We do need this, and we need the bed. And we do have an ender chest ready to go. So, here's east. Our base is about 1,100, 1,200 blocks that way. And I think we're just going to kind of try to keep to a circle and see what we can see, looking for water, which when we first spawned, I'm betting that a lot of you guys weren't around when this first started. Maybe you went back and watched the first episode. I know I always do when I'm watching like a long standing VOD that's going. I always pop back. Where'd that start? Where'd you get going? So our spawn is over here. This is where we have the gateway and where we initially thought we were going to be building for our shulker. But we started out in this plane and kind of bopped around. Where are we going to go? Panicked, don't die situation way back in, it was probably 117, guessing? Hi, what are you doing? Ooh, what are you doing too? Why are there so many of you? Is there a spawner of you? Or just a... Oh? Well, I guess it was just a little cave. Huh. Got some pants though. Can't remember what it was we needed of chain. So again, the beacon kind of helps. I don't know how far we can see that from, but it should go up to world height. That's iron, not copper, but we'll take it. And so eventually, I think we went out around that forest. We got out to the sea and threw down a boat and ended up running the coast out through all kinds of little points of land out that way to eventually end up uh, where we created our farm and settled down. But what I don't know with those mountains is there any little pocket sea or different water that we need to be aware of that might just have the Guardian farm, or are some of these things that we know over this way? Because I think there, certainly there's the desert village and uh, Pillager Tower where we did our raid stuff. That's between us and Spawn, maybe a little bit more to the west, but still out there. And it's really just a matter of where is a Guardian Temple and what's the closest line of sight so that we can run a minecart line or a boat. However, we're gonna get this. It is the day of the skelly, huh? Day of the coal too. No copper. Okay. So again, we're just trying to kind of keep that beacon in sight over our totem shoulder without going back to it. See what we can find. Don't think that's quite big enough for a Guardian Temple. Do we see any copper that's suddenly interesting out here? Some coal. Okay, come on. Down we go. I don't know. We could be easily overwhelmed by all this coal bounty. There's still our beacon. A lot of chickens, probably some wolves if they're leaving. Did the goat wreck the chicken? Do goats do that? Do not know. I am kind of curious as to what, if any, of this. Uh-oh. Which way? We just came from there. So there, we're just on the edge of being able to see our beacon. I lose it going this way, but now depending on what we find in the search or what we don't find, we may end up with enough of the coal already. The exact nether scenario that I'd already talked about, which is if it's too far to move the shulker over land, and you can move, you can throw them in a minecart, you can throw them in a boat and move them over land, just as we're going to put it in a boat and move it in the end. So if need be, we could put it back to the nether, put it in a boat and move it there. But I don't know what we would have to then do to prep a landing in the nether. All that stuff would just be open to all kinds of headache and pain and nothing we want, I don't think. So, I think we'll try to kind of avoid all that. That was, I can't tell from the train. Was this an area that we came in, like, we're working on gathering resources very early on, kind of up and down and over and back and forth? I don't see the torches, so, but the kind of like stepped and then the plateau that was all flattened out, it seems familiar. But I don't remember what that would have been. Oh, these mountains are not ideal. So may ultimately become a matter of just getting the shulker, getting a path to the sea from 0-0 in with the shulker in the boat. We know that that ocean goes all the way back to base and does have guardian temples around it, and setting up the place for how did we get here's attempt based on that temple rather than anything else. And then we would have to do the nether portals from likely our village and tower so that we could get the hero and back to the Bad Omen. So I think we're coming back to the grasslands again that will bring us back to spawn and the eventual portal. I haven't seen the beacon yet. Trying to keep that possible here. It's nice sleeping that way. You can see if anything's coming to wreck our morning. All right. Well, that didn't. Ooh, this guy's out there. Yeah, there we go. So there's our portal. A few Endermen to look out for. So let's go try to look at where our access to the sea had been when we wandered our way from spawn. Once upon a time. Mm-hmm. Kind of think it's out this way. And again, the beacon's way back there. We may have to do a flying episode, but I kind of hope to not do that right now. Switching out all the gear and everything, kind of a hassle. But I think this all played a part in, I think like we were kind of cutting back through this pine forest, maybe. Yeah, it's been so long now. But there's a donkey. Anywhere there's a donkey, it's good with me. River? So I think maybe we did kind of something similar to this. We came out here. Hey, there's water. Now we need to keep a close eye because there may be new. Well, I may have just avoided temples in the past. I guess we left that chest with all our boats in it, didn't we? And probably the workbench that we could use to make new boats. See any temples? Aha! I think that was our first chest. And this was after doing a long wander like that. We planted some trees to replace what we'd used. We stored some dirt. Did we cook anything? No. We didn't store any wood. Alright. Do we see a temple in close that we may be prone to overlooking? I don't. So let's do this. I think kind of out here we've got things like the Drowned Farm and the portal where we brought the Hoglins through. It's all of that kind of stuff. But I think even at the beginning, we just kind of picked a direction. We may have come out about this far, but then we just were like, okay, let's stay within the side of land and go that way and look for a place to build a base because we didn't want to get stuck out on the water in the middle of the night. We didn't have armor or anything like that. So I really don't know that we ever went this way. And we don't have a ton of time left today, but let's start the search in good faith. Lots of underground fortress. Is that ice? Oh, man. Oh, no. Teasing me, game. Teasing. Can there be guardian temples in frozen oceans even? I think so. I think they can be wherever, right? In fact, in World 2, our first kind of world where we made any kind of inroads on YouTube, the very first world only lasted one extra long play session that I was recording and tried to air in one 5-hour chunk. I guess it did. I just don't think it was very appealing to people. It was too long to want to watch through. So quickly ended that, but also started the second world after I'd had a creeper drop onto me in a desert temple. And we built a nice base, got all the way to the nether before I just boneheadedly fell into lava I couldn't get out of. But while we were doing all that, we did have kind of a glacier-filled bay in the overworld by the landmass we had, and it had a guardian temple in it that was making the little vroom, vroom noise that we could hear from our base. And I was, for a long time, wondering what that sound was. So I'm pretty sure we haven't been to any of this. Kind of, I mean, probably be slow to load the chunks anyway, because even if we've been over, if we haven't been back to it since the update, it's gotta do all the caves and extra depth to the bottom of the world. So, the very least, this is first visit since update. I don't know that we've ever been here. And it's kind of odd. This time I really don't care. But, well, I guess flying, we've done this a lot. When we were looking for biomes and stuff, we were checking the water, looking for mushroom islands. And so whenever we saw land, we'd kind of turn away. And I'm doing about the same thing in the boat here. I just think with the wings, it's going to be very painful trying to get all these loads and be constantly looking for guardian temples under the water. Night vision would help. It helps with the geodes quite a bit, but it would also help with the temples, seeing the terrain below the water. And we're not exactly close to 0-0 anymore. If we don't find a good candidate in this little expedition, what we'll probably do is got almost 10 minutes. We'll kind of go till we wrap up the episode, and if we get to an end point and still haven't found anything, then in the next episode I'll probably strap on the wings and fly all the way back to base and try to track down it's probably on my coordinate sheet, but I think I'll look. I'm not going to worry about that while I'm out in the boat. Let's just hope we find something awesome that has a pillager tower outpost and a Guardian Temple close by one another. That takes care of all of it. It doesn't matter where it is at that point. We'll get the shulker to it and call it good. But as I recall, we had looked around the desert where we have our setup for the raids and just not found much. But now 1,700 blocks away from 0, 0. That's a little ways. All right. Up, I think this is all. Oh, here's one. So I don't think this is particularly close. But tell me there's a pillager tower here somewhere. Come on. Be a pal, game. We'll make the village. Give me the tower. Tower. I guess I gotta get out the notes anyway. Oh, that wasn't what I wanted to do. Sorry for the wait here. I haven't opened this in a little while. At least since we were looking for spawn exactly. Alright. Temple near Desert Raid Village. I wonder if that's a water temple. We should check that at least. Maybe I already got this. Alright, so let's put this. We'll call these. Guardian Temple. And this is 1879 and 398. Well, I guess I'm not really there yet, am I? Is that it? Yeah, this is it. Here's all the Guardians. So let's call it 425 and 1800, 425. Wow, that looks cool. That's got to be new terrain. Look at that. I'm sure it's filling in a little bit, but it still looks awesome. Alright, well, here's the next. Oh, there's another one. Or is that the same one? It's not the same one, is it? No, because that's still going up. So, of course, there's a bunch of them now. I'm not going to jot down ones that are closer. But as it is close to the end of time in this session, let's get everything ready. And in the next, we'll be set to fly kind of straight to mining fatigue. Are you kidding? I hope that's just wearing off and I'm not getting it hit again. Look at how slow it is. We'll need that. And I didn't need to take that picture. I don't want to hit E because I'll lose all the... There we go. All right, well, let's. I'd rather not just get rid of an ender chest just because I have this. So, in the next episode, we are going to fly to. Oh, what do I do with it? Um, -421, -903. By my count, that's about 900 closer. And let's update this. This was going to be 1800 and -425. Okay, I'll save that. So that was the coordinates we, estimated. It doesn't have to be exact for our purposes. But 1800 -425, and this other one is -421 -903. So we get half the distance on this one, and kind of the exact opposite direction of where we were heading previously. So I don't know what this shorthand means. Let me see if I can find this to share. If I do this one, will it pull it up? Yes. All right. So there you see it. This is the one that we just found. Temple near Desert Raid Village. I don't know exactly what that shorthand means, but it's either a desert temple or it's a guardian temple. And the more sense would be that it's a guardian temple, and that would be the right kind of direction. Where, unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be anywhere along the water, but should be pulled out where we can kind of get to it and go. So let's now not leave this in front of the screen as we wrap things up here. 32 seconds. Let me kind of wrap things up from here, I guess. Once that does go, we'll just break the ender chest so that we have it ready to go and be ready to fly to start our next episode. But I want to thank you guys all for hanging out. I'm sorry we didn't find one super close, but it was a fun little wander, and we did get our hole dug. Again, sandstone and copper is, I think, what I'm thinking to finish the inside of that hole with, and ultimately I think I'd like to slab the top with cut copper slabs. I think that would be a good look. So lots more to do in that regard, but it's gonna take some doing. So we'll do that, but I just kind of had a little bit of a design idea, and I think it would be fun to try to recreate in that space. So more to come on that, but I think first priority is the business. We've got to line up where we're going to be doing these how did we get here activities, getting the effects set and actually setting up shop, so that as we pull all the other pieces together and ultimately figure out the shulker, we know where we're headed, right? We gotta have a destination. It's great to have the destination where the shulker is going to come out, but final destination is really important too. So our effect is cleared. We can pick this up, and with that, I'm going to save and quit. Wish you guys all a very pleasant night, because I don't often get to say that in honesty for myself. Usually it's early in the day. So have a great evening. Sorry if this comes up a little bit later, but have a great little time until the next one comes. I hope to be recording for you again tomorrow quietly, without atmospheric noises. And we'll see you then. Stay awesome, guys. And remember, if you just caught this for a first time, or happen to come around, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you can see more in the future. And likes and comments are always appreciated. Take care now, and stay awesome again. Bye now.